So let us start today with our salutation. Can anybody start, please? Yes, भास्कर जी करेंगे?
जी जी आचार्य जी।
Yes, please start.
ओम येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात्
हीनाक्षरसमाम्नायम्
कृत्स्नं
अधिगम्य
व्याकरणं
महेश्वरात्
प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः।
कृष्णं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. See, in Sanskrit grammar whole, it was written in poetic forms, mostly in the poetry, because to remember it is easy. So we have generally, all the whole Vakyapadya is in poetic form. So purpose of remembering, that's why the slokas were written in Sanskrit only. So we'll go to this sutras, please. So next we'll have these Shiva Sutras, which are very important. Today also we'll talk again. Yeah, please read it. Or you want?
आ इ
Bhaskar,
ऊण्
yes.
ऋलृक् ए
Read.
ॐ ऐ
A1.
औच्
Yes.
अयवरट् लण् ञमङणनं झभञ् घढधश् जबगडदश् खफछठथ छटत कपय शशसर् हल् इति महेश्वराणि सूत्राणि।
Anadi Sangyarthan. So these are the basic code he has prepared. What we call code today, how he prepared this code, it starts with the Shiva Sutras. This is what the example that what is coding and what is tagging that we are going to talk today. How Panini thought this concept or idea of tagging, or what we call in traditional term, we call it Anubandha. There is a book called Anubandhas in Panini. I will show you Anubandhas in Panini. So Anubandhas of Panini by G.V. Devasthali, University of Pune, 1967. It is published from University Pune. He has made a survey as well as technically explained the meaning of Anubandas and its usages in the Ashtadhyayi only. So this is something very important in science or linguistics or computer. We call computer tagging. So tagging was first used in linguistics to understand. So a linguistic approach that's what is tagging in linguistics is a linguistic approach that seeks to classify language phonemes, just phonemes. So just look at our Shiva Sutras. How phonemes are classified. We are talking today and taking pride we are advanced and more, scientific. But look at this, how Panini had this idea of using these anubandhas, or what he calls it letters. It. So this is what the linguistic meaning of tagging today. Similarly, in computer also, what is why it is used? The tag provide details about an item and make it easy to locate related item that have the same tag. So tagging helps. So when you say titi, so wherever you get in the 4000 sutra titi, it means something. So once he divides or he describes what he, when you used it, adyanto takido. That those technique used by him, though it is used in sutra form, but this one can find used today in the linguistics or in computation. You find them, the same word tagging is used. So tagging means to identity. It gives an identity, how to identify certain entities in a whole big corpus. People talk of corpus linguistics. What do you mean by corpus? So whatever we have in our mind, whether it is in sound or word or sentences, everything is used or they are in our mind in a corpus form. The whole corpus, not only words, corpus includes also our sounds. So starting from sounds till the meaning, the whole process, what we call prakriya, it is starting from sound to meaning or meaning to sound. So the communication takes place between this, that is how we communicate meaning through sounds and how they are processed. So to get that understanding of the process, the prakriya, we use certain methods. That is Panini's special method is tagging. So what he has done in Shiva Sutras, if you look at this, how he has used this. I will give one more. So in linguistics, it is used to classify in the language the phonemes. Similar in computer system, a tag is a keyword or term assigned to a piece of information. So tag helps in anything to understand, to identify a category, a class of items, a function. So this is what we get in our modern sciences. Even in science, in mathematics, we are using different superscripts. Why superscripts? It is only to indicate the value of it, the function of it. How do you get? So everything that cannot be expressed in words, but we understand them. To understand things, we need not use words every time in everywhere. So words are captured through these types of items or tags or indicators. So that is the basic understanding of tagging today, whether it is in linguistics or in computer or in mathematics, whatever way we are using things, only symbolic. Only symbol helps us to explain, understand everything deeply. We say a plus b whole square. When you say whole square, how do you understand them? It is a tag, way of tagging. It is a mathematical. It is a though it is mathematical. So human understanding is always mathematical. Because everything is used in a calculated manner. Everything is calculated. Everything arranged in order. Everything is followed in order. Because of that, we are able to get the meaning of a word. So the process which it involves is regulation, involves mathematics, involves numbers, involves symbols. So it is the understanding of the language is not just understood just like that in words. So anything that is communicated through a process. That is what the science is involved. That's why linguistics is a science. Grammar is a science. Grammar is the science of language. But any grammar is not science, just we are talking, Professor Mishra was telling me, because no grammar can be compared with Panini. Why? You do not get these systems, these techniques used by Panini are not used by others, nor specifically designed, nor specifically explained, nor defined also. Whereas Panini, when he has made this grammar some thousands years before, just think who is advanced and how much deep knowledge one must have, one should have to make use of tags, to express, to communicate the whole language complications. So we think language is something very vast, very big, infinite, but infinite is possible to understand. Even mind understand infinite means he can also control, regulate with finite sets. No, that is the idea. So it is a model, as a model of language structure or science. Panini's grammatical system is unique in using this indicator. We call it indicators. Now look at this. We are using the word indicators. Why indicator? Because it indicates. It indicates what? It's some maybe place, it may be its function, it may be its what you call the change. So that we'll see one by one. So that is what technically called tags. So tag mean our anubandhas are according to Panini, these are the each letters. That means it helps to group the sounds or even group the words, even verbal roots. So we have different ways the suffixes are used by Panini with all anubandhas. That is very, very clear. He has not used any suffix without anubandha. Why we need? Because the pratyayas are used with every stem, whether it is nominal stem or a verbal stem. It indicates something. Because whenever a pratyaya is added only, prakriti undergoes change. So when you see grammar, grammar talks about lopa, agama, vikara, whether deletion, addition, or insertion. Because of how the change takes place, in what way only grammar describes. How to describe that? So you have to use different methods. That's why methodology is very important to understand the language structure or any science we are talking about. So every science has its own method, and this method is always very, very technically designed, whichever is applicable to context wise. So the indicator we are using, because translation always a complication. So why we say that? Because indicators only we call this anubandhas. They are the Panini's term, each letters. And because they are attached to a root or a suffix. Root can be verbal root or nominal stem, dhatu or pratpadika, and a suffix which are not seen in this sense. So we grammatically, at the grammatical level, at the analytical level, we use these symbols, but it's not used in the proper usage in the language. So that's why it is all alaukika. Grammatical analysis is alaukika prakriya we use in tradition. Alaukika means it is not used by the people. But people understand it. There is an underlying structure which is analytical. In the analysis, we use these different techniques. But actually, in the usage, they are not seen. They are not visible. That's why they are called lopa. But if it is not there, how do you describe? We understand everything, but for everything, we don't have words. But you need more explanations, more explanations. But to be very precise and short, brevity, laghava. So indication, indicators, the tagging, the anumantas are the proof of brevity, economy. How he is able to explain the changes in among the words or sentences by using tag or anubandas. That is the role of tagging. So this tagging in Panini system is referring always similar to our, and they are called indicator because they only indicate. They are not actually found in the language, but they are used in the underlying structure, what we call the analytical sentence or alaukika vakya. Laukika, what is used, we don't see everything, but how it comes. So behind there are certain operations. That is the process is inside always Buddhist. That process, how that type of process is, so they are marked. How groupings takes place. So these phonemes, what we saw in the Shiva Sutras, they have been phonemic classification. In first time, thousands years before, the sounds have been classified according to their phonemic values. Ghosha, aghosha, voiced, unvoiced, aspirate, unaspirate, hraswa, dirgha, short, long. Whatever we are using today has been explained by him in his sutras. So that is why language is used with all these paraphernalia, all these particular meaningful expressions. And these are become meaningful because of to explain them we need our own methodology or technique. So that is why you get into the tag, and this is different from suffixes, we call them markers. So English we are using only to make you conversant and aware. Indicators which indicates, markers which mark. What it marks? Marks there is semantic relation. So karmani ditya vibhakti used to mark this. So marking is different from marking the relation, but indicating how, what type of operation takes place, what kind of changes take place. This is called more morphophonemic or in Sandhi. So we have different So whenever Prakriti and Pratyay are joined together, you find some kind of change. This change is, that is for phonemic change. So within morpheme, so Prakriti is morpheme, uh, Pratyay is also a morpheme, only Prakriti is a pre-morpheme, Pratyay is bound morpheme. Both the morphemes when get together, because one cannot be used without the other. So when they come together, so there is a change. This is called morphophoremic change. So change of phonemes with sounds. This is called sandhi in our traditional term. But for Panini it is called Sanghita. Sanghita means Varnanam Atipara Sannikasa Sanghita. When the two sounds come together, not any two sounds anywhere, within Sanghita, within two meaningful entity, whether it is Dhatu or Pratipradika with a Pratyaya. So it is between meaningful elements, when the sound, two sounds come together, we get the change. So this change is called morphophonemic. In our terminology, it is sandhi. So sandhi takes place between two words externally or within the word when Prakriti Pratyaya join together. But the same rule is applied for forming word or forming a compound. So these are the basic way how the rules are applied in both the context, in within the word, in the word structure, as well as in a compound formation. But compounds always, I have told you, it represents always a sentence because the only compounds have alaukika vigraha vakya, because there is an underlying sentence out of which two words come out and join together. This is basically one should get clarified what tagging means and how indicators or anubandhas are used by Panini, how many ways. That is our main purpose today, to see how anubandhas work, how Panini managed to explain all these Sandhi rules with the help of Anubantas. So accordingly, all the Shiva Sutras have been classified. The sound system, the phonemic system of Sanskrit is very well accounted by Panini, described adequately, so that we are not able to change. Ekamatra lagavena putrotsavam manyante vyakarana. So the grammarians always think even one matra is less. So one indicator will tell you everything. How it is possible? That is why he is telling that once. So that is the basic idea of tagging. How it is the greatest achievement of Panini. It is the greatest achievement in the linguistic history. Why Indian linguistics is important? It is only Paninian linguistics, which has established, laid down foundation how to approach a language, how to describe a language, how to justify the changes used by the people are perfect. So Poyoga eva saranam, it is usage. It's most so people cannot make mistake. We do not understand to explain them. So it is how Panini has made. So this is why tagging or tag letters it is used. Those who are interested, they can use this book to see this. There is a book, Dictionary of Panini Grammatical Terminology. It is by Professor Rudbergen, who worked with Professor S.D. Joshi, my guide at the University of Pune, who has helped Professor Joshi in writing, in giving English notation notes on Mahabhashya. So they have published around 10 to 15 Mahabhashya Annikas, and he has prepared this dictionary of Panini grammatical terminology. Each word used by Panini has been explained here by him in alphabetical order. Any word you want to know used in Panini and where it is used and what is its function, it has been all recorded here. It has been documented by him. It is published by Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Grammatical Terminology. Previously, they were also written by K.C. Chatterjee, but now this is updated and more useful for all of us. Those who are interested, they can contact Bhandarkar Oriental Institute. It is published in 2008. So, dictionary of, so this is very, very useful for linguistics and computer. Okay, so this is what grammatical terminology of Panini. So that is so this is the most important. So indicators and markers. So indicators are called anubandhas according to our concept, and anubandha according to in Paninian system, Paninian tradition, and markers refers to always the pratyayas because pratyaya mark the relation, whereas indicator indicate the form change of the forms. What form it is going to change? If you note it, what is going to happen? They get deleted, as I told you. Tasya lopaha. All these anubandhas get deleted. They are only used to indicate certain changes in the word, in the formation of the word. Whereas, and they are used, they are actually dropped or lopaha. Tasya lopaha. Tasya means it varnasya. So tasya lopa means it varnasya. So always it varnas are deleted because they are not visible in the actual expression usage of the language. So that is why we want to know, we want to see that how he has used them and how he has fixed them. These letters are used to convey special grammatical properties of the items with which they are associated. They are attached to an item, root or suffix, either at the end. Look at this, ante. So there are three places fixed by Panini. If language there is a change among the words or in the words, the change takes place in three places. Either at the beginning, adya, or it is in the madhya, in the middle, or at the end. So the idea is that, so the idea is that the placement, whenever we are using something that is to be, so in the change we find agama, lopa, agama, of changes. Where do they take place? So they take place, or it can be identified, or or in the middle or at the end of a word. So they are that's why these things they are I attached at the beginning. So root, what is they attached to an item? The root indicates always stem as well as verbal root or nominal stem, either at the end ante or at the beginning adau, or there is also madhya also. Even in some cases in the middle, that is madhya. Panini calls such letters as ith letters, and in the tradition they are generally known as anubandhas. Now, how derivation take? It is derived from the root to go. I dhatu, Panini says iti. Why you say iti? Now, iti indicates e to go. We have sutra, iti, eti. So, I dhatu, which means to go. It is derived from the root to go, and hence literal means that which goes or disappears. So it is, Anubandha Lopa. Lopa means it disappears. So that is why it is. And Anubandha literally means that which is attached. Anubandhanati. That is why English word is tagging. So Anubandhanati with Anu is a upasarga, an item for particular function. So what are these functions? Let us see. Next. So these functions, as we see, what is the scope of Anubandha? Why do you need? So the sounds or letters, so in technical term, we'll say phonemes linguistically, which are used at the end of 14 Shiva Sutras are termed as ith letters. So for Paninian terminology, it is ith, what we in science or in modern linguistics or computer, we call it tag letter. It helps Panini to form various phonemic groups. As I told you, the purpose of tagging in linguistics is to phonemic classification. First thing, unless you know the phoneme groups, which changes to what, in when. So these are the phonemic groups. So only is a group marking. It is same similar to the scientific use of this tagging in classification. So there was a taxonomic. Taxonomic grammar is also there. So taxonomic grammar means how things have been classified, grouped into different divisions. Because we do not learn word by word, sound by sound. Anything we learn, it is in groups. That's why you got Hraswa, Dirgha, Pruta. Similarly, we have the Sukrudanta. These are grouping, classification. How words are used in the language, how sounds, gosa, aghosa. So whenever we use in language, it is always in group. It is in class. We linguistically, technically, we call it class. Class of words, class of forms. So these classes have been are all always grouped or identified by a certain marker, certain indicator. That is why various phonemic groups, what we call pratyahara. So first, pratyahara is a phonemic group. It represents a group of sounds. So you can also, that is, so pratyahara is a code. If you use pratyahara, so you need not explain everything wherever it comes. So when you say iko guna vriddhi, iko means ik pratyahara. How this pratyahara is made? Now with an indicator ikke. Because ik represents I, U, Ru, Lu, not all vowels. So whenever there is Gunabruddhi, only ek will be. I'll be explaining. I'll give the sutras. Let us proceed. So this is what this has been clearly stated in his rule. Adi Rantena Sahita. How do we make a pratyahara? Adi and the last, it makes the pratyahara or the group or what we call this tagging. The code and every code is made with a tagging. Because the limit, there should be limit. You cannot just expand anywhere. When it's arch, it means vowels. Examples I'll give you. That is in the formation of a pratyahara, the sound beginning with the group of ending with an indicatory letter, ita. Ita. The sutra is adirante. Adihi antena saha ita. So adi and it varna sahita. So adi is in ach, begins, and cho ends. So first and the last together makes one group that is called pratyahara, and this group is indicated by ch. So that is why we say ach means all vowels. So whenever we say, whenever in the sutra, you will get ach, fill all vowels. If it is short group, you will say ike, atta, iti. Like that, we will see that. So that is why, for example, ach Shiva Sutra, one, you will get this 1 to 4. That means all vowels. It represent all vowels. O, U, Ru, Lu, A, O, I, U. Whereas Hal, starting from Ha to La, 5 to 14. There are 14 Shiva Sutras classified, grouped together, two divisions. One is Acha, another is Hal. Look at this. So when we make this, we don't need to again always count or remember. Whenever you are using changes, explain changes, we can directly use Ach and Hal. Each one is marked with a indicator and represent a group. So that's a pratyahara is made with anubandhas. That is how tagging helps Panini to make the group of sounds or phonemes into meaningful usages. That is why, and if you join together, you get al to last, la, 1 to 14, you get al. Just see. The sound system of Sanskrit, the phonemes have been classified. Though it is all the letters, that is why he has changed. I mean, he has made use of anubandhas. You see this, the same method or rule, technique, is also applied in grouping up. Now, when it is only with the sounds, phonemes, but you also morphemes. Look at this, all the soup and thing. So soup represent su to pa. There are 21 suffixes. Su, just these are all morphemes because they represent the case mark or the case mean karaka meanings. So ditya is used, karmani ditya. When you use karma, no, su just vibhakti added. So there is a system. However, whatever words are used in the language, they have been formed in such a way that if you know this, we can catch them what is happening elsewhere. So that is how computer is able. It is computable because computer can see, machine can find out immediately. It is a search friendly. It is a search friendly. Anything you want to know in Panini's grammar, you can search. If you know this, you can search wherever it is used. I think I will show you, I had shown you earlier also. You should have a copy of this, 1 minute. So this is also there. Those who are familiar with it, Professor S.M. Katre was the first linguist of India who brought linguistics to India. Professor S.M. Katre, Sumitra Mangas Katre. He was director of Deccan College, Postgraduate Research Institute for 25 years. He has done also, whole Ashtadhyayi has been done in a Roman notation with the classification of breaking the sutras. He has published his book, Ashtadhyayi by Motilal Banarsi Das. He has prepared at the last age of his life. He is no more. In Deccan College, he had, when he was there, he has prepared a dictionary of Panini in 3 volumes. Dictionary of Panini in 3 volumes. What does it mean? Now, very many people ask whether this word is used by Panini or not, whether it was known to Panini or not. If anybody wants to search that that word is used by Panini or not, so this dictionary of Panini tells how many places the words are used. Any word used by Panini has been cataloged, that has been put in the dictionary form to show you. One example you can see here, if it is one, see this, oh, I'll, any letter you see here, all are used with the, I don't think it is clear, but Dictionary of Panini by S.M. Katre, published by Deccan College again. If we'll see it, there are in 3 volumes. One should keep always at your side so that any word is interested to know, you can find out in which sutras they come. Whether Panini has used, if he has used in which sutra and in what sense. All things you will get in this book. So this is exactly how you should approach Panini or study Panini. We have all these ancillary texts now. These are, though we call Vedangas, here you will use Vyakarana Anga. You need a dictionary, you need the technical dictionary terms, you need the words used in the Panini. So all these things help us. And Anubandhas in Panini help us to understand that how a language structure is made, how he has designed, and how technically it is so much meaningful today, and why it is used in computer. So the soup and thing, again, these are the morphemes. Morphemes are meaningful units. Morpheme are meaningful units. These morphemes can be free and bound. That is what is explained in morphology. Free means all our prakritis, but those who have independent meaning. And bound means those who are meaningful but joined with the prakriti or the root so that they can give a complete meaning. When we say Rama, it becomes pada. That's why we say prakriti-antam padam. Sorry, pratyayantam padam. Once pratyay is added, it becomes pada. But not all pratyayas. So soup, and that's why he has moved supting padam. He doesn't say kruti is included because krut only what formation? It forms the stem. But soup and thing are the final endings. That's why always they are the final endings. I had explained that final endings always are make padas. But other non-final endings, the pratyayas, are called formative suffixes like rudanta and tadita. They are the formative suffixes, whereas soup and thing are inflectional suffixes. They are called derivational suffixes. So now morphology is divided into inflectional morphology and derivational morphology. Panini had done thousands years before. Supenting only talks about the inflectional morphology, the final endings, whereas Krutadita represents the derivation. Why he made Krutadita Samasa? So all our grammarians are wondering, they do not understand why Panini used such words in these categories, why he are classified into these groups, because they are grammatically, linguistically, scientifically, logically, they are different types of words used by us. In any language, it is not only in Sanskrit. It is used in English now. Whole linguistic theories, morphology is developed. Those who read morphology will see. If you read Bloomfield, he will give you indication how morphology, those who are writing, including the linguists like Robbins and others, they have accepted. and understood that how language to be analyzed. So I'm only linking, giving the parallels, how Panini, why he made such classification, and how he made, and how he used these tags to clarify, justify. There is no need to change. You cannot change a single word. So Ekamatra Lagavan, he has never left any scope for you to change it. So linguistic theory change, but Panini's theory does not change because it suits the occasion, language. We know so far we know. It may be noted that though the consonant letters are used as indicator letters in grouping the phonemes in general, like ikke, acha, hala, all are consonants. There is no vowel. Within the phonemic group, 14 Shiva Sutras, you get only consonants. But vowels are also sometimes used. If you look at this, so grouping the phoneme in general, Panini has used even vowel u as indicatory letter in categorizing the five homogeneous savarnas consonant series like ku, chu, tu, tu, pu. Anudit Sabanasya Cha Pratyaya, the sutra is here, on and Udit. So he calls them Udit. Panini does not use word, ka, kha, ga, gha, ka, nowhere he has used. Everywhere he uses ku. Ku means cover, whole ku. Choho kuhu. Chobargasya kabarga adesha. Kuhoschu, kabargasya chobarga adesha in abhyasa. So there you have jagama, chakara. If we know this, from this you can see how the forms are there. Why? So it indicates the way the indicators are used, it indicates the formations of words in a language. So that's why here you ku, chu, tu, tu, pu means so kavarga, chavarga, tavarga. So they are called because u is at iti. That's why it is udit. Ukara is ut means again taparatat. So only ta added means it becomes the same vowel, short vowel, udit, ukara it, as evident from his sutra. Anudit sabanasya cha pratyaha. Yes, next. Now what are the
May I
forms?
just ask a question? Like in Odia, we don't use
Yeah,
ku,
please.
chu, to pu, but ka, cha, ta,
No, no,
tha,
nowhere.
va.
No, this is grammatical. This is alaukika. So when you are writing mathematics or science or anything you are describing, you are using X, Y, Z. No. Why? Because,
Let
ah,
me just ask the question. So we are
yeah.
added to the consonant. Sometimes while reciting the Vedic mantras or Upanishad, like etad vai
Hmm.
tat, it comes in Kathopanishad
Hmm.
many times, but they pronounce it as etad vai tata. So these
Yeah.
addition, will it also be called an it letter
No,
and
no, no, no.
anubandha?
See, people, tat and etat, these are actually pronouns. Tat sabda.
Yes.
So the pronouns, which are these demonstrative pronouns, at, tat, etat, these are not in, because they are part of the morpheme. They are used in the language. Tat asti,
No,
tad asti. Yeah.
but they add an o while singing or
No,
reciting.
no, no.
Or
See,
like ka, cha, ta, we also
that
add
is the
an
problem.
o.
No, generally, Ucharana. So if you read this Maheshwara Sutras, at the end it is written, Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani Anadi Sangyantani Hakaradisu Akara Ucharanartha. Only for sake of Ucharana. It is used. If ka only for utterance you are using, but when if you, that is why in English when you are writing in English phonemes you are writing k. Same k you are representing as ka in Indian languages. Both are same or different because this o is always used for ucharana. Hakaradisu akara ucharanartha. So, for the sake of pronunciation, we add vowels, but the consonants are the basic phonemes. Ko is added only, so ko is not a phoneme. K, ikke is a phoneme. So, whenever you do grammatical changes or analysis, we use ikke. We don't say, so bak asti, bagasti. So, ko become go. So, there is no o is there. So, bak is the pratipadika. Bach dhatu, you get bak. Then you add suffix yat, you get bakya. If you add o, that is only Ucharanartha. That is why he has separated. The Akaradisu Hakara Uchcharanartha. So means he is giving the example also, Upadesha Ach Anunasika. We are also, I'm going to explain. Yeah. So one function is indicator. Okay now. So idea is that certain practices are there for the pronunciation. They are not grammatical. What is grammatical? Which makes changes in the analysis. So what is used in the analysis, you call it a method. A method is necessary to analyze something in a very technical way so that we can get the solution. So grammarians is using these things not for his fun. He's using to justify, explain how the words have been processed. That is what computer is doing. If you give the algorithm, if you give the proper formation, which is in a proper indication, computer can only tell you. If you do not know this, computer cannot help. So machine accepts only technical knowledge. That's why technology. Technology means you should develop or some technical elements which can help the machine to, machine cannot understand natural language. It can understand only technical language. Unless you give them X, Y, Z, it will not understand. Unless you tag them, it will not show you which word you that she was showing. No. So everything that is used in the language in the proper, this is Laukika, what is used by the people, spoken. But when you understand them, then this technology is necessary. How to understand, how to describe them. So description takes the advantage, or you can say the precedence. That's why first it is processed, then only it is spoken. So what is the process in grammar is the process of the language, the rules of the language. So spoken language is spoken. So people are free to speak, but everything that is spoken is justified by the grammar only. So without grammar, there is no language. So these rules are used in that language. So the main purpose of this an indicator is to signal morphophonemic changes, including shift of accents, etc., etc. Some of the indicators, like those that are added to a root, indicate particular suffix or class of suffixes that are connected elements can take. I'll give you examples now. Some of them indicate which of the vowels derived word carries the accent. The 7 consonants, the, na, cha, ka, etc., and l have this function, while p indicates that the connected suffix is on accent. Supitu, Anuda will come to that. Next, some of them indicate position in which a particular element should be placed. When you add something where you should add, in the beginning or at the end, or that is also indicated by the indicators. Yes, next please. So next we'll see that, yeah. Yes, next. Sorry, yes. So one is the some technical problem. It will come.
So isn't this the next one? Accents? The fifth function.
The Bob got.
1 minute.
So isn't this the fifth one?
ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ ନା ଆସିଲା okay. Sorry, there connect in the technical problems. Here you are saying this Paninian made use of the accent. You will read it. I'll just tell you. So certain verbs which are used with anubandhas in the dhatu pathas, So just like I had mentioned you earlier, sing, sete, sing. So in the dhatu patha, si dhatu is used with an anubandha wa. So you get sing, sete. So that's why whichever is in gite. So anudatam gitam atmane pada like edha dhatu become edhate. There is no edhati. Edhate is always because it is used in dhatu patha with anudata. So that anudata and in Gita, Gita is sing sete. So in the si dhatu is used read as sing. So in dhatu pathas, all the dhatus are used with anubandhas. That indicates that sorry. Uh, so that indicates that these dhatus take atmanepada, edhate, like that. So you have grows and sete, sleeps. So because of this anudata and git, okay, because of git, it is sete, sing, it is the to sleep. It is written like this in dhatu pathas. So you have grammatical rules in one aspect. Now also it is very required in the linguistics. You should have grammar means you should have rules and lexicons. What is lexicon? These types. We have the lexicons. I told in the beginning. Panini use the rules, fun sutras, and for to understand the sutras, where are the language? Which are the words? So he has given dhatu part. All the verbal roots have been kept with the classification with the anubandhas. They are in 10 ganas, in 10 classes with their specific markers or indicators. So that is why Anumandas helps him to put the Dhatu Patha, the verbal roots. So all the verbal roots, 2000 roots, have been in 10 ganas classified, as well as each root is given with a Anubandha to understand that what will be its form. So if you from this, you can indicate what is used there, you say see it in the roots. So that's why Singh said that. A root that is marked with Swarita. So there is another sutra, Swaritam Gita Kartavi Praya Kriya Pade. If it is Swarita or Gita, Cha Cha Ja Ja Ya, Gita, Kartavi Praya, we get this also Atmanepada. For Atmanepada suffix, you need these Anuvandas. These two Anuvandhas, like that, Pachati. So Pachadhatu, do Pachas. So similar, do Kriyu Karane, Kriya. So words which are Swarita, they are Pacha Dhatu is with Swarita, that's why cooking, Pachati. So, and if it is Atmanapada, it is Pachate. Both the forms are there. And these Pachati and Pachate, Parasma Atmanapada, are used also to make some difference is there also. Certain roots are totally Atmanapada, certain roots are only Parasmapada, but there are certain roots which are both Ubhayapada. Ubhayapada means they are used both in Parasmapada and Atmanapada. This Parasmapada Atmanapada also how they are used. Now if you look at the sutra, Swarita Kartavi Praya Kriya Pade. So if you see this Pachati and Pachate, similarly Yajati and Yajate, two forms are used. When? Anytime, is it arbitrary? No. So Panini has given explanation. In this sutra he has written Kartavi Praya Kriya Phala. The outcome of the action, the Kriya Phala. If it is meant for the speaker, Karta, Kartabhi Praya. If it is the object of the or the goal of the or it is the benefit goes to the agent, that's why it is Atmanepada. Atmane means for oneself. Parasmai means again parasmai is a pronoun. Para is a pronoun. Parasmai means for others. So when you are doing something, you are doing not always for yourself. So sometimes you perform for others also. Somebody cooks for himself, but others cook for him also. So that's why Pachati means cooking for others. Pachate means you are cooking for yourself. Similarly, Yajati means he is performing sacrifice for others. In a Purohita, Jajamana comes, no, you do homas. For what purpose? For the Yajamana, for the well-being of the prosperity of the Yajamana. But if you are doing for yourself, it is Yajate. You can also perform for yourself, no? You also need your welfare, no? So that way, when actions, the object, the result of the action, if it is Karta oriented, It is Atmanepada because Atmane for oneself and Parasmaimin for others. So that is why two forms are used in the language to explain that. The result can be but aimed for oneself or it can be for the others. So that way how languages are used and Sanskrit makes use of this both Parasmaipada and Atmanapada as a tool by Panini to explain that these are not only for Atman just purposefully or something, they are used to make a difference in meaning. Kartabhipraya Kriyapade. Okay, that is most important. One should understand that how Pandit allows options and also the benefits. Guna Bruddhi. So this is a very common, as I told you, in among all Indian language. It is not in English nor any other language. It is a speciality of Guna and Bruddhi. These are very technical. Why technical? Because the changes that take place in our language is something different from any other language. Because sandhis are mostly used in Sanskrit and other Indian languages. So when sandhi comes, you see guna and bruddhi are kind of sandhis, which are specific changes of vowels. So I had told you earlier, there we have three types of changes of the ik vowels. I, u, ru, lu, though they are divided based on action, hasso, dirgha, purta, etc., but they are also grouped. Ike is used, the I, U, Ru, Lu, these four vowels play an important role. When they are used with a verbal root, if a verbal root and with I, U, Ru, Lu, like in Ni dhatu, like in Chi dhatu, like in Bhu dhatu, like in Kru. So dhatus ending with these vowels, there are 2000 roots, not necessarily only Bhu and Kru. So he says the dhatus which end with vowels other than O. O is anudata, edha dhatu we saw, edhate. It is edha. It is not written edhe. It is edha. But iurulu, all the verbal roots ending in iurulu, they represent three types of changes. What are those? So one is guna, so E becomes A, and it gets also bruddhi, like Oi. So E, A, Oi are the three grades. And where E remains? No, E remains when guna bruddhi does not take place or prohibited. So example I had given you earlier, take dhatu kru, if it is kruta, here ta is there, past participle. Because of past participle, kru does not change. Why it does not change? In relation to or in compare to karoti. Kar, uti, karoti. So kar, kru become kar, it is guna. Kru become kar, it is bruddhi. If you understand these three, you can relate the whole thing. So kru, there is no change. In kar, there is guna, adhen guna, we had seen, o is guna. And kar, a is vriddhi. So that is what we get in this form. Kruta, karoti, or karana, even you can use karana and karaka. So kruta, how? In karana there is a guna, kru become kar, then karana lut, we get a yut pratyaya, anadesha, karana. And karaka, we add a nood suffix nit, because of nit, it is bruddhi. So there is guna and there is bruddhi. At the same time, with certain suffix, there is no change. Krita. So this ta is, though we know it is ta, but it is for Panini, there is an anubandha, that is, it is called kiti. So the suffix is actually ikta, like bhakta. Kta is the pratyaya. He has given bhute kta. Kta pratyaya, why he has made? No, because of kit, this guna bruddhi nisetha. If a pratyaya is kit marked with ka, ikke, then there is no guna, no vriddhi. So whereas in karoti there is a guna, there is no kit, it is lut pratyaya. In a nood pratyaya, there is no kit. So that's why you get guna and vriddhi. But when there is no guna vriddhi, how to prohibit that? You see nishcheda. So once you make the sutra, iko guna vriddhi, that guna vriddhi takes place of the ik vowels That is Iganta. So always represent, so Yan is a sutra. Whenever he has used in the words in the pratyas or dhatus, in we say Iganta. Ik anta. Yena vidita adanta. So whatever he has used in the sutra, it should be used in two ways. Either just like E dhatu we are having, no? E dhatu means what? E dhatu, it is only E, single E. There is no beginning nor end. Then how will you understand? No, Yena Vidhita Adantasya Sutra tells you that whichever is used in the sutra, it represents its oneself as well as the one ending with that. I will give one example also. Why I am giving? Because we should know the basic difference. E dhatu to go, chi dhatu to collect. Just like E plus A, you get Aya after Guna. Similarly, Chi Dhatu, you get Chaya. So E is not Ikaranta because it is only single Dhatu, no? Single vowel. But Chi is Ikaranta. So the sutra which is used, whatever is used, Iganta, it refers to both. Even it is not Anta because it is Ikara. So there is a sutra, it is called, what do you call that? Even it is one, it represents Adyantavat ekasmin. Ekasmin proyoge. If a vowel or consonant is used single, it should be understood as Adi as well as Anta. Adyantavat ekasmin. Sutra number I will give you later. So Adyantavat ekasmin, he has made sutras. It is not only Yena Vidadantasya, but Adyantavat ekasmin. If it is single vowel, how you are going to apply? No, if it is one, it should be treated as both the one same at the beginning or at the end. So the sutras are applied in this manner. So just like Kruta, we get Bhu, Bhuta, Shru, Shruta, and with Kta Pratyaya. So the Pratyaya is actually Kta because it is Kit, no Guna, no Vriddhi. So in comparison to if it is Bhu plus Sa plus Ti, we get Bhavati. Bhu become Bho by Guna. Then Abade, so you get Bhavati. Okay. So similarly, I gave you example Karaka by Vriddhi. With the secondary direct. Now, so how there in how many places? So first, this is the Kit Pratyaya. If it is Kiti, so there is a sutra called Vriddhi. Number 3 is coming, then 4 is coming. There is one Ardhat Nadhat Lopa Ardhatke, then Kingiticha. So immediately after Guna Vriddhi, he gives the scope, Ika Guna Vriddhi, then he immediately gives the Nisheda. Now this Guna Vriddhi does not apply if the Dhatu is a Kit, the Pratyaya is a Kit. Kingiti, Kit Arangit. If Kit Arangit, then this Sutra, the Vriddhi's Guna does not apply. So in this Bhukta, Ikta, so the Ka, because it is Kiti, so that's why there is no Guna. Then why you are saying that it is Kiti, Guna, but Guna does not show in Gata, Gam Dhatu, Jata, Ja Dhatu. So there is no Guna, so there is no Ik, no, there is no Guna. Then how Ta is used there? Why do you make Ikta? So when you make a rule, it is a general rule. General means what is used first, where the change takes place. Now, this is change is conditioned by ik. If the dhatu is ik only, you get guna vriddhi is prohibited. If the dhatu is not ik, so ja dhatu, jata, jayate. Ja dhatu means only to born, no? So it has akaranta. That's why even the suffix ikta, the guna vriddhi does not apply. So there is no need. But if you say only ta, then the problem will come with the iganta dhatu. So to stop, first if you apply only, then you can stop. No. If you don't apply, then how? So the creation of the suffix as the kitti is necessary. So you apply only when there is a kit. You don't worry for others. Whenever it is used in other dhatus, ja, akaranta or akaranta. So that is why the rules, when they are framed, they are kept in mind. Why you are making ik? Because with other vowels it does not go. Why you are making kit? But kit involves guna vriddhi only with iganta, not with all other vowels. So to make a rule, how many things one has to take care? This is called this adequacy, descriptive adequacy. explanatory adequacy. It is not that we are just talking or he has made, because he has justified himself by his own explanation, by using the Anubandha letters like that. So that is how we get this. So when it is used with the secondary suffix, so when it is used with the different categories of word formation, here secondary suffix generally we mean the tadhita, secondary derivatives. When we make tadhitas, what happens? If the suffix is, look at this, it indicates the first vowel of the stem undergoes vriddhi. First vowel. Vriddhi generally take place, ikoguna vriddhi. So E, U, Ru, Lu, they becomes I, Au, R and R like that. No. But there are certain vowels, so certain cases where by kit also, kit suffix, though here it is guna vriddhi nisheda, but kit is also used to indicate in secondary, in different place, different section. Same suffix, same anubandha or what you call the indicator, if it is used in different sections, in different context, they are marked separately for separate operations. So in this place, in general, it is Guna Vriddhi Nishedha. And when it comes to secondary suffixes, it is Kitticho, there is a sutra, it is Adi Vriddhi. So we have the sutra, forms like this. Nadadibhya Phak. Phak is a Tadhita Pratyaya. And it is used after Nada. Nada, etc. There is a group Nadadibhya. Nadadi means Nada, etc., etc. So they take the Phak suffix. And this Phak becomes Ayana. Ionization for the Paninian gives substitutes rules separately in 7th chapter. 711 Yuvaranaku and 712 this Ionization for the how what sound changed to what or substituted by what. That you will get 711 and 712. The key teacher tells you that 72118 tells that the derived word has the acute accent on the final kitaha. So there is a what we call the accent, and kiticha gives you phaka, you get this narayana. The first padha kha cha gha, they change to respectively ayo nei niya etc. So splitted, it is splitted in the Vasu. Those will refer to Sri Chandra Vasu. English translation, he has also separated. To read these, you should follow them because the words are made in Sandhi. Because Sutra should be Sankhepa. It should be Sutra should be very short. That's why Sandhi is must necessary. For Panini has used Sandhi rules within the Sutra itself. So Nada, a descendant of Nada. So then next please. So if you look at this, so next is there is when it is augment, it is with an augment, it's agama. It indicates what is that? Now when you are adding this suffix in dhatus, like look at this, how we should use them, where we should place. It is a placement. How to place, where to place. So you give just indicator. Why you need indicator? Now suppose you want to give something, that how to place it, bhavishyati, bhu it syati. So there is a ardhadhatukasya it balade. So there is a idagama. We get bhavishyati, bhavita, patishyati, patita, patitavyam. So tabya, ta, ta, patita. Patita means read, past participle used. With consonant ending dhatus, you will mostly find e agama is there. Patita, gatita. So there are certain forms which are taking e agama. These are called agama because it has no meaning. But it is used only in relation to a particular suffix which represents some meaning, because suffixes are meaningful. Agamas are not meaningful, but they are used only in connected with a meaningful element. Just like a kartari sab. Sab pratyaya has no meaning, but it is used in sense of kartari. Or when there is a kartari pratyaya, only sab can come, not everywhere. Kakta pratyaya, there is no agama, sab agama. It's a kartari thing we had seen there. So we have to keep that how meaning is used for the suffixes. And when certain agamas though they are not directly having meanings, but only in meaningful connection they are only used. So that is why we get it here, bhavishyati, idagama. So when you say iti, where you will iti? Because it is titi, so that is adyantau takitau. I think the sutra is here. Adyantau takitau. Sutra is 1146. Adi antau. Either in the adi or in the anta, which are to be used again respectively, yatha sankhya manudesha samanam. So when you said takitau means teeth kith. Tit and kith anubandhas are used in this order, either in the in the adi or anta. So tit in adi and kith in anta, respectively. The meaning has to be understood from 1, 3, 10. So datha sankhya manu samana yude adi. So tit goes with adi, adau tit, antau kith. If the pratyaya is kith, it should come at the end of the dhatu to which it is to be attached. And if it should come before the suffix to which it is to be attached. That's why if you look at this bhavishyati, so bhu, it plus sya. So sya is agama in the shetasi luto, in the future tense, second future, we get sya. And in first future, we get tas, bhavita. So both the places, sya and tas, they are not thing, they are not sit. That's why they are called ardhatko. Panini, that I will tell you, explain you when you come to technical terms. Sarvadhatko, ardhatko, why? Basically the formal differences between the verbal formations, verbal forms. You have bhavati, you have bhavishyati, you have bhavita, you have bhavatu. Where e comes, where e does not come. So if you will mostly, if you have marked in all the 2000 roots, whenever you use the suffixes, so suffixes are identified, they are classified. Suffixes are classified into sarvadhataka and ardhadhataka. That I will tell you, explain you. Why? From this you can tell that this. That's why it says ardhadhatukasya it balade. The ardhadhatuka suffix only will take it, and if when the ardhataka is ardhataka, because it is ardhataka, if it takes it agama, so it should come before. So the placement is fixed by teeth. If it tit adyantau takitau. This sutra tells you about the placement. Whenever an agama is where it should come, anywhere we don't, we want it cannot be. It comes only in specific spaces, condition given by him. Adi tit, adau tit, antau kit, by antya kit. So it is dibachana is used because the only two suffixes are explained. Then there is one more. Next. So this is you see the technique, how he has used. So next please. So there you will see this. So before kith suffix. Now there is another advantage of kith suffix. Now everybody is conversant with the ukta, anukta. We know that. We know ukta and anukta. Ukta means expressed, like anavihita. Same meaning. Anavihita, anukta. Avihita, ukta. What is ukta? Where do you get it? You get ubach also. That I like. So this Ihurulu become Yavarala, we had seen. Atyanta, 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 Atyavasaka, Atyam. That is Yana Desa. Yana Desa. So ik become Yan, if vowel follows. There is a rule, Ikojaji. First we had seen that. Just opposite, you just think now. If there is Yavarala, they also changed just opposite Iurulu. So ik yana, yan becomes ik. This is called samprasarana. So samprasarana is another type of sandhi. What happened? The vowel or the semi-vowels, yavarala, they change to basic vowels, iurulu. The examples are given here. Just see this. So and how it is possible when? So here it is. There it was yachi. If vowel follows, ik become yan. If vowel follows, achi. But here, the suffix is if it is kit. The kit suffix, if the suffix is kit, then dhatu gets samprasarana, gets vocalization. So vacha dhatu, we have uvacha. I'll give first letter still this ukta vacha dhatu. So I just see yabarala becomes yurulu. So this has been stated by him, and he has given certain things undergo some. This is called samprasarana or vocalization. This is another type of sandhi where yana the semi vowels becomes or come to their own position. Yurulu. Example is the Bachi, so he has given the sutra, Bachi Sopi Ajadina Kiti. Kiti means Kit Pratyaya Pare. Always Saptami Vibhakti used in the sutra, you should understand as the condition. Kiti means Kit Pratyaya Pare. Piti means Pit Pratyaya Pare. Karmani, Karmani Arthe. So whenever there are Saptami Vibhakti used, always in condition. Meaning condition or sound condition or any type of condition. Here kiti means kit pratyaya pare. That means bachi bach dhatu prayoge, sopi sup dhatu prayoge, yad dhatu and yajadina and yaj, etc. Kiti pare samprasarana. Vacha prakta, you get va become u because the pratyaya is kiti. So I have shown here within bracket. Earlier I have not shown it, but slowly we can modify, will change. To show the indicators, we can use bracket or we can use bold or sometimes it is capital, but putting everything in a short, what you call this PPT point is very difficult to maintain uniform. But I am just indicating, showing how I have used for our purpose only. So if it is bracketed, means it is lopa, the key thing. Okay, it does not exist in the prayoga. So only it is marked, it indicates that if the suffix is kitti, then vachadhatu gets va gets samprasarana. So uch plus the, and then you get, there is another sutra, chohoku. There is varga becomes kavarga. There is a sutra also, you get this. So it is here 8 to 30, cho becomes choho, kuhu. So you get, so uch become uk, then ta ukta. Similarly, wo becomes u by bachi sopi. So in bachi sopi, if it is swapa, it becomes supta. How do you get supta? Sopadhatu, sopiti. How do you know? Because sopiti with ti pratyaya. But when it is with ta pratyaya, it becomes supta. What is the change? The wo become u. Sampra. Why? Because how to describe this? He said pratyaya make it kit indicated. If it is kirti only, we can describe it got some. So all these changes, otherwise how you are, well, otherwise you have to write paragraphs. Oh, this happens like this with the dhatu, then oh become mu, everything. Instead of that, only kit gives you the hint that it indicates if it is kit, some prasanta. So you get this. Then u, then again samprasarana, all these things, the samprasarana, vowel, etc. I'm not giving detail. Next, please see. Next, so please. So this is what gitte. So it is now supposed to come to kitti. Achoni, chacha jajanya. If nya is lopa, what happens? Already we have seen you earlier. If the dhatu is marked in the dhatu pata, we think it's pratyaya dumkriyu karane. So kru dhatu is not simply used in dhatu pata. You will say dumkriya karane. Yeah, that's why you get kuru, karoti, kurute. Both the forms are used. With root, it indicates what is that? Atpanam suffix to be used. That's why we get the suffix like kriya pale, atpanam pachati, pachate, yajati, yajate. With suffix, it indicates that if it is with the dhatu. Okay? Anudahatangitam, atpanam, but anudahatangitam who? The verbal root. If the dhatu is marked with anudahatangita, you get atpanapada like yajate and kurute. If it is with suffix, what do you get? You get vriddhi, yintyadi, nitya. Example, you see, garga plus aya. I am giving just example. Yaya assigned by garga dibya yaya. It is tadita suffix. Yaya suffix. It is written as yaya. Why? You need ya, no? If you garga plus ya, it will be gargya, no? Then how do you get gargya? So this is vriddhi. All the vriddhi forms takes place in our languages only. Garga becomes gargya. Nada becomes narayana. So Dasaratha putra Dasarati iya pratyaya. So in Giti, when it is used, so it is that's why Gargadivya ya. So Gargya. And that is why you get or become a by Taditeshu Achamade. So in Taditas, so Guna Eko Guna Bruddhi is mostly applicable, I had told you, Guna Bruddhi takes place of the Dhatus. It is in Dhatu Adhikara. If Dhatu is Iganta and with vowel and Iurulu vowels only, you get Guna and Bruddhi. But there is also Bruddhi with a nominal stem, particularly with the Taditas. Tadita suffixes are used with nouns only. That's why they form another noun. Dasartha becomes Dasarathi. Nara becomes Narayana. Garga becomes Gargya. So these change from one stage to another stage. So there is a relation. These are apatyarthe, son of so and so, relation of so and so. These meanings are also expressed only by tadita suffixes. These tadita suffixes are marked in such a way. So how the buddhi will take here, there is no ekoguna buddhi. So for tadita suffixes, if it is in gite, you have tadi adi buddhi. So Dasaratha become Dasarathi because he is added ya suffix. So da become da. This is called Adi Bruddhi. And this Adi Bruddhi, it is not Dirgha. Adi Bruddhi takes place only in Tadita forms, provided the Adi is Akara. Or it can be, so any form, any vowel gets Bruddhi with the Git suffix in the Tadita section. So in Tadit, so every section makes use of the term in its own way. But you see that, so Git and Niti, they represent always Bruddhi, Kit and Git always prohibit. They prohibit Guna Bruddhi. Tadju, Acham Ade. Achang Madhe Yo Adi. The first vowel. Vowel among all, first among all the vowels. The first vowels get Bruddhi. Dasaratha, the, sa, ra, tha, four are there. No, where Bruddhi will take place again. So he conditions. That's the Adi. The Adi vowel gets Dasarathi. So da Bruddhi rules. Okay, this we are using with again Bruddhi, where you get this. Yeah, take the forms now. Achon Niti, there is a very common rule. So Krudhatu, you get Kara, no? Karmani on Pratyaya. We get Krudhatu, you get Kara. How do you get Kara? So Kru and on suffix. On. Karmani and Sutra is there. So Kara is used as a suffix. It is a noun, anyone who does any work. But we use as a Uttarapada. Kumbha Kara, Kumbham Karoti. There the Kara is used in the sense of Karmani. So when there is a karma in the here also Upapada is used, this is called Tatropadam Saptamistam. That is Sutra. We said that the Saptamistha word is always if there is an upapada. Karmani means if the karma is in the upapada, in the vicinity, the dhatu takes on pratyaya. So kru plus ana. Why kru is taking? Because kumbha is there. Kumbham karoti iti kumbhakara. So kumbha is the upapada and it is the object. Kumbham karoti. So since object or karman is in the upapada, the kru dhatu takes ana pratyaya. So karman. So how he will explain kumbhakara? One sutra. Karmani an. And of. What is karmani? The karma when there is in the upapada. Something to do karmani upapade. So when the karma is in the upapada, object is there. So this is called compound verbs. Compound the month he has done and you will wonder what is compound verbs? How can you describe the one rule? Karmaniyan, kumbhakara. So kumbham karati. So kru ana. Because of ana, again you get bruddhi. With ya kru ghaya, you get kara. Pach ghaya, you get paka. Then cha becomes ka by chajoho, ku ghinyato. If the pratyay janit also, the kutva takes place. The cha becomes ka. It is because of the again anubandha that is nitya. Ku ghi nitoho, nyato. Wherever there is a nit pratyaya, it causes bruddhi according to the context. But wherever the case, so nit can be bruddhi, nit can be kutva. If there is cha varga, so there will be kutva, depending on the context. So we can know, once we know these are the anubandhas and these are their function, 4,000 rules, wherever you see them, you can find out tagging. The tag helps you to sort the availability of it, the application of it. Wherever it is applied, wherever there is a dirgha or buddhi, you can know from this. So that is how tagging. It helps you to search or to find out. Wherever there is, if you don't know the forms, from the forms itself you can mark out. If there is a, it must be buddhi. So then you have to see what is the root. Etymology doesn't mean anything. Etymology means how do you go to the root? How do you find out the base? So these indicators plays a very important role in whole word formation, whether it derivational or inflectional, whatever way it is used, the indicators. They are something beyond imagination. Nobody can change. Nobody can think. Thousands years before the mechanism he has developed, what we are calling tagging today. If you are calling tagging, you are a very brilliant scholar because others do not understand what is tagging. That's why grammarian used to always show, they are very big because nobody understands the grammatical terms. So if you don't know the term, then he is a very big man. So that is all our understanding. That is what we try to see them, that how languages are operating at certain level, higher level, in a very inner level, very deep level. So we are not able to communicate, we will link them. See that how Panini has been able, successful, to what extent, how far it is perfect, how far it is logical, how far it is complete, is a matter of our understanding. We should know how to think about a language. It only tells, it's just a model. That's why people say it's a model for any grammar. If you want to write the grammar of a language, you must know how to write, where to start. So these ideas. So next, what is there is, so anything else? There are so many other things also I have given without let us yes, but questions. I just like to inform you that